Hello everyone and welcome back again. How are we doing? So today we are going to review a book. In my last video, I shared how I turned my LinkedIn post into a book, into an ebook. So today we are going to go through that book. So if you're a medical writing enthusiast, you're welcome. Even if you're not a medical writing enthusiast, you're just a content creator, you're a writer, you're welcome to listen even as I go through the pages of the book. I bet you that you enjoy it and you pick up some facts, some details that will help you in your writing journey. So like I shared even in my last video, that this book came from a post, a LinkedIn post that now became a LinkedIn series that I ran for 10 episodes. And from that, it now turned, I converted it into an ebook. So we're going to go through the ebook right from the cover page. Then I'm going to share some few details about the book. And I encourage you to go and get a copy of your own so that you get to learn how to improve your writing career. You get to learn to avoid mistakes in your writing journey. So join me as we go through the book. Okay, so that's the book. So that's the cover page. Mistakes medical writers should avoid. Okay, so this is the book. Mistakes medical writers should avoid. It's a practical guide to mastering your writing and building a career you are proud of. So this book was written from my experience as an editor, a reviewer, and as a medical writer. In the past 1 year, I've worked on so many articles across different therapeutic areas in medicine. I've written up to 36 medical writing articles and edited and reviewed more than 120. So along the line, I came across some of these mistakes. I'm still coming across the mistakes even as at this moment. And I felt that to be good for medical writers all over the world to know about these mistakes, and not just to know about the mistakes, but also to learn how to avoid the mistakes. So that was how the post came about, and the post eventually turned into episodes, up to 10 episodes, and eventually the episodes became this book. So I advise you to go and check my last video on how I converted the post into this ebook. But today we'll be looking at the ebook. So that's the cover page. This is the copyright page. This is my dedication. I dedicated this to my father, who actually started this whole thing. He was the one that introduced me into the literary world. He was the one that taught me how to read and write. And not only that, he taught me how to share my light. So naturally, when I know something, there's always that tendency. I always look for a way to tell people about what I know, because I saw my dad do that severally. So this is the preface, just showing how this whole book came about. Like I already said, that it was a thought on a Saturday morning that finally became this. So that will also help you to know that those thoughts, those ideas in your head, that you can actually transform them into something tangible, into something of impact, and even into an income generating article and income generating substance, something that you can look at and see, this was an idea, but now this is what it is. So that's the preface. Then we have the table of contents here. So we'll go through the table of contents. So we have this book has 14 chapters. 14 chapters. You can see the whole. Yeah, yes. So it has 14 chapters. We have part one. This section covers the foundational mistakes in medical writing. Part two, the writing and research pitfalls. And part three, the visibility and growth gaps. Then we'll have the introduction and also the conclusion. So under part one, we have 5 chapters. Under part two, 5 chapters as well. Then under part three, we have 4 chapters. So the introduction is just I made sure that it was brief as much as possible. So it was just like an invitation for you to understand why you should read this book and why this book is necessary. Then under part one, the foundational mistakes. Chapter one, I started with the first mistake and the most crucial mistake that medical writers make, and that's not adhering to guidelines. For every publisher, every website, even journals, they have guidelines. And the easiest way to run into trouble is not to adhere to guidelines. So that's what this chapter is all about. Then chapter two is about Google Docs. Now Google Docs is a software that we use very much in medical writing. And if you don't know how to handle it, especially when it comes to responding to reviews, it becomes a problem. That's what this chapter is all about. Chapter three is on delayed response to reviews. Some writers don't know how to respond to reviews. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes weeks. So these things, they have implications. And that's what this chapter is all about. Chapter four is about how to respond to reviews. Some, even when they review, they use the wrong language, they use the wrong methods, they are rude because they're uncomfortable with the review. So that's what this chapter deals with. Then chapter five is on ignoring emails. Now, some their problem is not that they've seen the email and they don't want to review. Some they don't even see the emails at all. And it's even beyond review, apart from the fact that when a Google Docs document is reviewed, the prompt comes up on your email. Your editor may want you to may want to discuss some other issues with you concerning your project or maybe upcoming projects. And if you are not available in your email, it becomes a problem. Now, email is central to what we do in medical writing. So you check your emails even more than you check your WhatsApp if you're a medical writer. So that's what this chapter is all about. Then part two is the writing and research pitfalls. Under it, we have chapter 6, which is misunderstanding the topic. In medical writing, first of all, you need to understand the topic that has been assigned to you and understand the scope of that topic. If you don't, the likelihood that you may veer off in another direction completely is there. So this chapter deals with that mistake and also provides solutions on how to avoid it. Then chapter 7 is on generating articles with AI. Now, AI is also central to content creation, not just writing. And if you don't know how to responsibly use AI, then it becomes a challenge to your writing career. So that's what this chapter is all about. Chapter 8 is about how to synthesize evidence. You know, you in medical writing, you are not reinventing the wheel. You are writing what has been written or what has been researched on. So if you don't know how to gather the evidence, it becomes a problem. That's what this chapter is all about. Then chapter 8 is on using too much medical jargon. If you are writing to the public or to patients, then your language should reflect the people you are writing to. So if you use the wrong language, you lose your audience. That's about chapter 9. Chapter 10 is not paying attention to grammar. Now, no matter how much you know, if you can't convey it in proper grammar, your audience won't understand you. So this chapter deals with the issues surrounding grammar and how to handle that. Then part three is on the visibility and growth gaps. So in medical writing, you shouldn't be stunted, you shouldn't be stagnated, and you shouldn't also be covered. You should be visible. And you need to know how to get that done, because you need to understand the skills aspect of the job and also the business aspect of it. So one is, no, chapter 11 is about not showing up properly on LinkedIn as a medical writer. And LinkedIn is so important to us in medical writing because of all the social media platforms. That's the one that you have so many professionals. In fact, you have more than 1 billion professionals on LinkedIn. So as a medical writer, you need to know how to show up on LinkedIn properly. It's not just about showing up, but how to get it done in the right way. Then chapter 12 is on trying to build a medical writing career without proper training. Sometimes some people just wake up and because they have a health science related degree, they just term themselves medical writers without learning the trade. And that's why they run into problems along the way, or they find out that they won't be able to function the way they should. So this chapter deals with that, on how to get proper training, on how to scale up as a medical writer. Then chapter 13 talks about the silent saboteurs. Here we have so many mistakes, about 4 of them listed under that chapter. Some of these mistakes are subtle, they are not so obvious, but yet people run into problems when they don't know that these are mistakes that they should actually avoid. Then chapter 4 is on building without the source. I am speaking to you. I was able to write this ebook because I'm connected to the source. It didn't just come from me. It came from God, who is the original creator. You know, we call ourselves creators, but the original creator is God. So if you don't know how to build with him, it becomes a mistake. So that's what this chapter talks about. Then we'll have the conclusion where, having gone through all these 14 chapters, by then you must have recognized your mistakes. So the next thing is now to move from those mistakes to mastery. So this is the introduction, like I said. And let me just read out some aspects of the introduction. The introduction said, before you write another sentence. So this is a book you should read before you write the next sentence, before you write another article. Make sure you read it so that you don't commit errors. So let me take some of the paragraphs. The first one said that you have a background in health or science. You've always been good with words. And someone told you, you'll be great at this, so you jump in. If you ask so many medical writers, that's how they jumped in. They'll tell you they jumped in accidentally, and or somebody said I'm good at this, and that was why they jumped in. So, but that's not enough to make you a medical writer, and that's why people keep committing mistakes. So, in summary, I said that each chapter will help you understand the mistake, because each chapter deals with a mistake. Learn why it matters, see how to correct it, and get insights on how to avoid it in future projects. So for each chapter, we have sections like practical stories. So I told some of these, my experiences, I communicated my experiences through stories in some of the chapters. And also, almost all the chapters, in fact, in all the chapters, you have key takeaways. So there's always a lesson to learn. For each chapter, there is something that you go out with to implement. So in this book, you'll find real stories. I'm reading what I have here. Practical advice and the kind of tough love clarity I give my coaching clients. You know, I also coach medical writing to medical writers, both early medical writers and upcoming medical writers, even aspiring medical writers. So I give them tough love clarity, because that's what you need to be able to move forward in a field like this, especially those of us in Africa, where medical writing is somehow alien. So you need that tough love clarity. And that's what I demonstrated in all the chapters of this book. You see the information communicated in a very clear and simple manner. It's not condensed in any way. You can see I'm scrolling through the chapters, not condensed in any way, with key takeaways. Key takeaways in all the chapters. You can see the key takeaway in one of the chapters said, don't stretch the response time unnecessarily. Is chapter 3, delayed response to reviews. Responding early keeps the conversation flowing and the project moving. A fast, thoughtful response builds trust and opens doors for more work. So this gives you something to think about. So when next you have a project, as you are trying to, as you submitted your project and you are waiting for the reviews, once the reviews come in, you remember that you shouldn't stretch the response time unnecessarily, and that helps you. And that's what we have in all the chapters till the conclusion. So this is the concluding part. And let me read out one of the phrases. Say that medical writing is not about being perfect, but it's about being intentional. Being intentional with learning. You have to have a voracious appetite for learning if you want to succeed as a medical writer. And you have to be very intentional about building your career. So you have to make investments, financial investments, time investments. What you are seeing here is time that I committed over the past months to learn this. And also money that went into learning the business of medical writing and the business of social media, having an optimal social media as a whole. So I've communicated this already through my coaching programs for those who have passed through our coaching programs. And this is also my way of communicating this in another way through writing. And also this review is also another way of communicating it through YouTube, through video. So, in medical writing, you can have multiple ways of actually communicating the same information. And so what's next? My advice is that you should keep on learning. Never stop learning. Keep improving. Try to go deeper. Master your craft. And if you are ready to go deeper into medical writing, I'm right here and ready to help you do that. So this is an invitation for you to grow with us. So you can enroll in any of our coaching programs. You have the one-on-one coaching in which you get to be directly coached by me, just two of us. So it's usually a special time when I have to give one-on-one coaching. I love it so much, and also my clients love it. Then we'll have the small group coaching where you get to be coached in a group of not more than 5. So it may be your colleagues, group of about 5 of your colleagues, or maybe you have 5 friends and you just want to be trained. You don't want to wait for the scheduled coaching. That's the last option, the 14-day medical writing. You just want to be trained. This is for you. So you can opt for that. Then we'll have the 14-day medical writing challenge. This is usually scheduled because you have to bring in a number of people within the class. Is an open class. So if you wish for that also, you can subscribe for that. The upcoming one is starting in a few days on the 4th of May. So you can register for that. So this holds sometimes 2 monthly or even 3 monthly. Over time, it may start holding quarterly. So if you want to join this, then you are free. As long as you have a LinkedIn account or you are ready to open one, you are free to join us. So if you are reading this and you are thinking, this is what I need, you are not alone. There are so many health professionals that have passed through our course and so many who are still intending to do that. So we invite you to join us and Also, let this book be a motivation to you that you have what it takes to make an impact. From a thought, this came about. From a thought, even the medical writing coaching came about. So you can do a whole lot as an individual. You can do a whole lot for the people in your sphere of influence, even people with beyond your physical sphere of influence. That's why the social media platforms are there for you to expand your influence to people beyond your immediate physical environment. So this is my quote. In the realm of health, knowledge is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And if you are still wondering who is this person talking about this, where did you get, do you have the skills, do you have what it takes actually to write this kind of book? So this session is about me. So I'm a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, also a public health scientist, and a certified medical writer and editor. I'm the founder and team lead of the ACE Medical Consulting and Communication Services. So this is a medical communications agency in Nigeria committed to raising competent medical writers and also improving health literacy, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but all over the world. I'm also a WHO FIDES member. The FIDES group is a network of health influencers supported by the WHO to fight health misinformation. So you can see that I've been there, I've been here, I've been across the desk, in front, and behind. So I invite you to access this book. You'll find the link in the description box, and also the link to our medical writing coaching program. You also find it there. If you're interested in joining the main cohort, then this is the time to register because registration ends in the next few days on the so if you are here to subscribe to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment, share with medical writing enthusiasts in your network. So till we see you again, keep improving, keep shining, keep living. See you next time.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.